All right, so this is probably the second video I'm going to put up on YouTube for my second go around. And this is what I want to talk about today, that I actually did some of this before in about 2021. And I'm going to keep the same channel with Second 50 Strong. It's something I still very much believe in, but I just stopped in 2021 and just fell off of everything. I was doing everything myself, and I just want to explain what happened a little bit. I was blogging on my Second 50 Strong website, which I'm now going to be completely changing with the help of my son, because I don't know how to do a lot of that stuff. So my 16-year-old is going to be helping me. And I did about 45 blogs, and I was podcasting. And I did a lot of podcasts. Not a lot, but for me, maybe it was about 60. I really don't remember. And had over 1,000 listens, which was wonderful. So I was doing that. And I also did some YouTube videos. I don't know, you guys have probably never seen them. And there was probably about 4 or 5 of those. I was completely editing them myself, researching them myself, finding pictures that I weren't licensed myself, and just doing everything myself. And all the while I was working full time, still am, and attempting to be a attentive husband, an attentive father. I was coaching wrestling still back then, 10 months out of the year. I'm winding down a little bit now. I'm only coaching one team now, assistant coaching one team now, which is really nice instead of doing 4, which is what I was doing before. There were days, even then, when I was doing all of that stuff, I would have 2 practices a day. I was coaching, and every once in a while I'd have 3. And it was crazy. So that's kind of calmed down. But then I was still kind of juggling all of that. Dad, husband, blogging, podcasting, YouTube, all of those types of things, work. And then what really made me drop all of those balls was I got a opportunity to start an outpatient clinic from nothing. It wasn't mine. I didn't own it. It was an opportunity from a company to literally walk into an empty area and start it from nothing. And it was actually a lot of fun. I took it. I took the opportunity. I'm an outpatient therapist by heart. And that's what I've done in my 30 years of practice. I've probably done that 15 to 18 years. I just love doing outpatient. And I took that opportunity, and just that clinic was my baby. And that was it. I dropped my blogging, I dropped my YouTube, and I dropped my podcasting. Still was a wrestling coach, still was a dad, still was a husband. And that was my full-time job. I even remember walking in there, and it was an old ice cream parlor, and there was chocolate ice cream all dried up on the walls. And even the first couple of days, I'm sitting there by myself in a completely empty room, which was not very clean, completely empty, and scrubbing dried up chocolate ice cream off the walls. That's how that clinic started. It was just me. And I had the director of rehab of the entire New England area was kind of overseeing me, but she was in a completely different state, right? She wasn't even around. So we did a lot over the phone and video chatting, but I did it all. I learned how to process and validate insurance, get referrals and follow them up from doctors, to making all the scheduling, to doing all the treats, to being able to figure out when certain progress notes, discharges, blah, 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 were due, all through systems that we created and I had to create. And all the way to signs on the wall for fire exits. I made all of those, right? I did everything. And that clinic was my baby. And that's all I focused on for a while, and built it up to where we had 4 employees. We were netting. I had to do my weekly reports, my weekly in and out reports. We were netting 12, 15, 17 grand a month after a while. And that's net. That was nice. And we were thriving. I hired an OT, I hired a PTA, I hired an office assistant, I had to fire someone, which is the worst experience in the world. It was the worst experience in the world. And yes, I have been fired. So I know what it's like to be fired, and I know what it's like to fire someone, and firing someone is worse. There you go. And I didn't even want to fire her. I was told I had to from the upper administration. So that really sucked. Yeah. Anyway, we were just about ready to hire a occupational therapy assistant because we were growing so much, and we started talking about expanding because we were growing out of our area of either getting a bigger clinic area or another clinic area, and then I would kind of oversee both of them as we were really growing and doing really well. And then my yearly eval came up, and they gave me a 2% raise. And I was like, oh my God, I'm working 65, 70 hours a week for you. I'm killing myself making this a very successful clinic from zero. And, it's competitive, right? Because you have a lot of other clinics that are already open. This was not an easy task to, within months, we were in the black, right? We were making money, which was wonderful. And so I left. Screw them. If they didn't appreciate my hard work and couldn't pay me for it, I wasn't going to give it to him anymore. And it was a very tough decision, but I saved, that was the right thing I know in my heart to do. It was my dream job. I said it every day. Maybe I jinxed myself. Maybe I didn't knock on wood enough that I kept saying, this is my dream job. My God, I can't believe I'm working my dream job. This is the most amazing thing. I love my job. This is great. And I walked away from it, which was what happened. I needed to do it. And then even in that time, though, all but 4 people that we saw out of the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people that I treated were under 55 years old, right? And I'm right now exactly about 52 and a half. So I'm in my 50s. We treated people all the way from 55 and up, except for a very scant few of other people, and rehabilitated them nicely. And I have a lot of stories that I can share with you without breaking any confidentiality. But the oldest woman I ever rehabbed back to her home was 106. The oldest man I ever rehabbed back to his home, and both of them living independently alone, was 104. So I know what I can do with people who are getting older. Yeah, it was really good stuff. So then I left that job and switched to home health and working with people in their homes. Now, there's nobody that I see under the age of probably 60, maybe 50s, if they have a joint replacement, something of that nature. And I started to see a lot of things again, and with men especially. I treat a lot of women. I still do. I love women very much. But I noticed that I have to check my watch. I'm sorry, to make sure I need to get to work on time. I got to cut this in a minute. But I noticed that when men and women, when they get older, live in the same way, when they're doing the same stuff in their 60s and 70s, men decline rapidly and women do not. And the vast majority of time, it's the woman taking care of the man. It's the woman who's still doing quite well for herself in her 70s, late 70s, early 80s, and the man is alive, but struggling with just a massive decline. I call it the destruction of masculinity. And the wife stops treating him like a husband and starts treating him like a child, like a dependent. And I have seen that over my 30-year career thousands of times. And I decided I can't stand this anymore. I can't help one person at a time. I can't just help one guy at a time. I need to see if I can help more people, because it is just that common how men decline so poorly in their late 60s, mid 60s, and beyond. So I'm picking this back up again, and I'm going to completely suck at it, which is okay. These videos originally are going to suck, and that's okay, because I have a message I need to get out, and that's really what it's about. I'm not going to try and be too flashy. I'm just going to try and tell you what's going on and what I know, how it can be fixed. And I have done those fixes to many other people and myself many, many times. And within that period of this last year or two of working in people's homes, I actually wrote a book on it. And it's not out yet. It's called Grow or Die. And it's still at the final editor that I'm paying to get edited and getting the book cover design all done. And that's going to be coming out too. So I'm going to start to figure out how to blog again, start to do my YouTube videos and all of that good stuff, and podcast if possible. And pick it back up, because I can juggle those balls again. Being a wrestling coach much less now, and I'm not working 65 hours a week to build and maintain something. That's not my job anymore. So I'm going to pick this back up because there's a message I need to tell. There's something I'm seeing, and people, they need to be aware. Men need to know what's coming and how they can change it. So this is video number 2. I haven't even published video number 1. I'm relearning to how to edit videos, which is a pain in the butt, but I'm going to figure it out. And hopefully these first 2 videos will come out soon, and we'll talk again later. All right. So my name is Ken Kowalski, and my website is Second 50 Strong, which is majorly under construction. So please don't go there yet. My son's going to help me with that this Sunday. I'm taking him to Starbucks, and we're going to start to build it back up. And yeah, more to come. All right.